Jack here. Back with back making YouTube videos. I was gone for a while, but I'm back. Rebranding the channel to talk about things that I'm more passionate about. Been gone for a while, mostly because sort of, identity crisis, and also feeling like I didn't really enjoy the type of material I was making anymore, so I decided to change things up and make different or more videos that I'm a fan of, which are like book related content. I guess with all the awkwardness out of the way, let's talk about a book. Jagan Richards here, booktube man now. Man of the tube of books. Tube man. Today I wanted to talk about a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which is this book. I have a lot of messy notes. The first notes, the ones in blue, are because they delivered to my house the wrong post-it notes I wanted. I wanted more like this, like these on the back. But they sent me this one in like the long ones instead. So I got out a pair of scissors and I just made my own with the post-it notes that I had. And they're not great, but yeah, it worked for the first half. And then I got fed up and went to CVS and just said, "Fuck it, I'll buy this crap instead." But it worked. Loads of notes, little notes, and then also just shit around there. I picked up this book a long time ago, and I haven't the faintest idea where I heard of this book. I just sort of always knew about it, and I was like, okay, I'll read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I got told, I don't know by who, but by someone, that the book is, not what the title would lead you to believe. So I ended up, going to Strand, and when I was in Strand in New York City, I was like, "Do you have Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance?" And they were like, "Yes." And it was in plain view. I didn't know it was such a pivotal book, but it's right at the front where you can, well, not the front, but that section where they got all the books, and you're more likely to pick one up there as opposed to going to all the shelves and having to look around. When I took it home, I think I read about 100 pages, and I was like, interesting, but I'll maybe read it in the future, but didn't. Then I was watching, I'm a big gamer, so I love Elden Ring, and I tried playing Sekiro, but I'm really bad at Sekiro, so I just abandoned Sekiro. But I watched a YouTube video about Sekiro, and maybe I'll annotate which video it was. I'm sure I can find it. I was watching a video on Sekiro because I got frustrated with playing it, and funny enough, while watching the video, the guy mentions the book Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I was like, oh, okay. And through this, I just wanted to go back into making YouTube videos because, through having a therapist, I gotten over some confidence issues I had, and I was like, okay, and self-image, and overcoming some self-loathing, and basically I was like, okay, I want to go into writing, and I want to go into journalism maybe in the future, but in the meantime I can practice my writing by doing YouTube videos. I have a script here, but kind of only vaguely reading it. I am rambling. Not every word that's coming out of my mouth is me, is not scripted. This is not a Charlie Kaufman movie. Either way, after watching the video, I was like, okay, I'll read, maintenance, Zen and maintenance, I don't know what to call it for short. I think we'll just call it maintenance, Zenny maintenance. We'll just call it Zenny maintenance. So I decided I'll read Zenny maintenance again. And I finished it, and obviously I enjoyed it. I was making a lot of notes while reading it. And I guess I should probably, with all the context as to why I'm reading it, I should probably talk about the book. The book centers around Robert M. Pirsig and a road trip that he went on with his son and two friends, John and Sylvia or something. I can't remember the other person, but I know John because John's easy name to remember. And then the son's name's Chris. And they go on a road trip on motorcycles, of course. You know, they're staying between camping out and then also staying in hostels now and again. And then, like, something, you know, they stay through every weather condition. So, like, blazing hot, you know, snowy, rain. They were traveling across America. They've stayed through everything. And Pirsig even notes that he one night they forgot to dig a trench around the tent, and they awoke very drenched and wet. And as someone who had to do camping as a qualification, it's tough. It's not fun. Luckily, I went in the summer. I don't think we had to deal with any rain. May have had to. Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, when you go back to the back of the book, it even states that it was influenced by Kerouac, because, like, as you're reading along, if you've read any of Kerouac's stuff, like, it will jump straight to you that this is very on the road, if any of you have ever read that. But yeah, there's a whole list. I don't know if you're getting it. I don't know if that's in focus, but there's a whole list of influences in the back. One of which being Frankenstein by Mary Shelley and Dracula by Bram Stoker, which I haven't read either of those books, but to my understanding of Frankenstein, I don't really see the connection. Book talks a lot about science. But this book is, like, not a novel. If you go into it thinking it's a novel, you might be disappointed, because narratively it's jumping between a lot of stuff, which I'll get to. But something that I felt when I was reading it was that it's a really tough sell. I couldn't imagine trying to pitch this to anyone. And I think even, I put it in my notes, I think the book was rejected like 121 times or something with by editors and publishers. And I don't blame it. Like, they probably didn't even read the first page, because, like, if you were to write, like, a little, like, 50 words to just sum the book up, you couldn't. I can't even sum it up. I tried summing up in like 40 or 50 words, and it's just like, what is this book? It's not a novel. You can't really call it a science essay, a real self-help book, because it's not really giving you, like, concrete advice. Though it is, you know, it's a very thoughtful book. So Pirsig even sort of breaks the third wall by telling the reader that, you know, he didn't change any names because he doesn't want it to be a novel. Even though, you know, I was reading a LA Times article about this book when I was fact-checking some background about it, and they even called it a novel within that article, which I would say is not true. In terms of substance, I would say you have to separate this book into two books. There's one which has, like, I guess, the narrative, and then the second is Pirsig sort of talking to the reader about his thoughts on sort of coming to terms and being calm within the mind, sort of finding purpose as through life, sort of like what is purpose, and let's figure it out while he's writing the book. And he goes on a tangent at one point about, like, how human beings only really believe what they see with their senses, which relates to what's that word? There's a word for it. There's a philosophy word that I'm shit at making YouTube videos so far. Empiricism. Wasn't really familiar with empiricism before reading this book, but essentially empiricism is the idea that we can only really believe in things that we can sense ourselves. And Pirsig makes a point that human beings don't really do that all the time. Human beings believe in many things that aren't immediate in our senses. Like we believe, we have faith that when we are out and we put money into the bank, that the money is there. You know, you can go, you know, they don't have like, and he makes an example where he says like people that there isn't like a little drawer with your name on it and it's got all your money in it. You just, you know, they got your name there or in the system, and they write how much, or not right, but I guess it's all automated now. It's like, you know, they keep track of how much you have in the account at all times, like, you know, electronically. It's, you know, basically, you know, like that's, you know, contradicts that belief or that philosophy, because like we do believe in things that we don't really see. And I guess just for context, this is him going in a roundabout way, trying to convince his friends that ghosts, we can't dismiss ghosts, and the possibility that ghosts exist is because of this, because how can we say ghosts aren't real if we don't necessarily have the sense for it? Though I wouldn't say that he's trying to convince the reader that ghosts are real. It's just sort of food for thought. You can get a lot of substance out of this book in terms of like, you know, if you're feeling lost in life and need something to sort of give your brain to think about things. This book's not in the same vein as, say, How to Win Friends and influence people. Not the same in that sense, and it's not like, you know, that other book that's like How Not to Give a Fuck or whatever. You know, you see those books when you're in Barnes and Nobles. Like, it's not like that. This book's more like asking the reader to really just think. And in its pursuit, I would regard this book as like very thoughtful. Like, it's thoughtful and it wants the reader to be equally as thoughtful. Biggest takeaways of this book, I would say, I mean, that's a good question. What are the biggest takeaways of this book? I think what's funny about the title of this book is basically, it's not like you'll start reading about motorcycles. He doesn't really start talking about motorcycles till like 300 pages into the book, which is like hilarious. But and then once he does start talking about motorcycles, then he's like, I guess we're now at the part where we're talking about motorcycles. Really funny title. I'm surprised that he got away with titling the book that, but part of the book that really stuck with me was, and funny I say that, no pun intended, is when he talks about the idea of stuckness. That at one point, no matter what we're doing, whether it's a hobby, a profession, or even a video game, we all get stuck at a point in what we're doing. And he sort of offers his advice and his point of view on what you should do if you feel stuck. And I think this is what the person who made the Sekiro video was getting at. And it really connected with me because, like, I'm trying to learn Spanish. Es malo. Muy malo. Pero yo necesito practicar más. Yeah, it's terrible. But I just kept getting stuck. And every time I got stuck with learning Spanish, I would just get more frustrated. And, like, I felt like giving up. And, you know, I haven't been studying as hard as I used to. I do Duolingo every day. But studying, like, with a book, not really as much because of sort of being deterred away from being stuck. Pirsig writes, what's really been getting you stuck is the running from the stuckness through the cause of your train of knowledge, looking for a solution that is out in front of the train. He also writes, but now consider the fact that no matter how hard you try to hang on to it, that this stuckness is bound to disappear. Your mind will naturally and freely move towards a solution. Unless you are a real master at staying stuck, you can't prevent this. Unless you really want to be stuck, you can't really prevent overcoming it. If you keep doing it, and doing it and doing and doing it, doing the thing that you want to overcome, eventually you will get over the stuckness. And it's funny that he uses the word stuckness because it's not even a word and it sounds silly to say out loud, but he's communicating a dilemma that we probably all have. And what I've gotten from that is that I need to overcome the stuckness with Espanol, and I need to overcome the stuckness of the Elden Ring DLC because without spoiling it, the final boss is not fun. And I want to beat it before they nerf it. And some other advice he gives is if you're truly stuck at something, you should read up on the subject. Like read every article, read every newspaper on it. A bit dated, but maybe go online and read all about it, or watch. YouTube is a great place where, like, if you're stuck with something, I do this with video games all the time. When I'm stuck in a video game, I will watch a guy that is playing the game as slow as humanly possible just to know where to go next. And you ask yourself, or at least I ask myself, I'm like, why am I not doing this with like other things in my life? Like if I'm stuck with math, I should start reading up more on it. Or if I'm stuck with chess, because I want to learn how to play chess good. I can beat the computer on easy and normal. Can't beat it on hard though. But if I'm stuck, I should try and study more on the subject and then read everything, and then it becomes more enriching because you're learning. And the key to life, and this is just me, is I don't know. I'm sure Pirsig would agree with me, but the key to to a good life is knowledge and constantly learning and learning. Aside from what I got out of the book, there's lots of different things that it tackles, and depending on what you are as a person, different things are going to stick out to you. So what stuck out to me might not stick out to you, but there's plenty of other things that he talks about, like talking about like values and like always to have an open mind, because if your mind is rigid to new ideas, then, like if your mind is not open to new ideas, you're not really ever going to learn anything new. And also he sort of tells the reader, like, if you feel like you've messed up at any point while doing this, what you have to realize is that everyone in their profession messes up from time to time. Everyone, fucks up. It's just like most of the time human beings will only point out the good of what their day-to-day is. They won't necessarily point out when they've messed up. So don't be harsh on yourself if you do mess up, because everyone's messing up. Everyone had to be bad at one point. Conclusion, will you learn how to fix a motorcycle reading this book? No. Will you walk away with a new perspective on life and learning and Zen after reading this book? Maybe. This book doesn't really provide concrete answers, but it's asking you to think about things. It's asking you to be thoughtful and to be patient and to not give up just because you're stuck where you are in what you want to be. Just take your time, and if it takes you 100 years to learn a very basic thing, then it takes 100 years. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're enriching yourself with knowledge. At least that's what I got out of the book. Anyway, thank you for watching. This is it's been Jack and Richards of Jack and Richards, and I would give this book a 9 out of 10. I think it's worth a read. I'll be doing more of these videos in the future. Thank you for watching. Keep on trucking. Bye.